I can hear my listeners already saying they want to hear more about XS and what it was all about, and I perhaps have you back on the show going into the details of some of these business learnings. But I wanted to get your story down a little bit more today. So in the last 5 minutes I've got with you, I guess I wanted to get a little bit more into finally your bit. So we talked a little bit about education, and I always have this thing about education where I'm nervous that people are going to get university degrees and then they get trapped in that training and in the debt that then brings on them and doesn't allow them to start a business. Do you think that's true or not?
I mean, in terms of what? I mean, whether a university degree is necessary, or I'm sorry, I missed the first part.
Yeah, no, I mean, my basic point is, do you think education, when you're looking at all these startups, you've got a huge sample size there of 280 companies, do you think education is an important thing or not? Do you feel like, a bit like having two co-founders increases the odds of success? Do you think having gone to Stanford or Harvard, because again, there's a lot of investment companies that will only invest in people that have come from Harvard, right? Or only invest in people that have come from these prestigious schools. Do you think that's important or not?
Us as a firm, I would say we don't look at that as a primary factor, right? I think we more look at, the founders in terms of what they did right before and how the team sort of gels together and works together. I will say there are firms out there, like you mentioned, they do look at if it's like Stanford engineer or worked at Google or certain sort of signals like that. I think since we're invest globally, I don't think we look at the pedigrees, especially from sort of U.S. universities. Then you have to sort of dig a little deeper and do, I think, a little more due diligence, right, in terms of the personality of the founders and their background and doing reference checks. But I think that's all more necessary and important too, right? Because going also into my personal experience, right, like I could say that some people looked awesome on paper. And that's like for any job, right? In a corporate job or whatever, you're hiring someone, right? This person is like, Harvard grad, undergrad, HBS, right? Shining star at Bain or BCG or McKinsey or whatever, right? When you get them into the startup world, I think it's a whole nother story, right? Or when they're at, they work at Google, but then when they're in the stressful environment, I say when that stress is on you and there's fires to put out, true character comes out, right? And I've seen it where, not just from my own experience, but even in our portfolio companies, they hire someone with a great resume, great actually even reference checks. But when they're in that startup environment, like you see a whole other side of that person, right? Right. And that's the same thing, like even in sports, like I play basketball. I say like sometimes you don't see a person's true character come out until they're on the basketball court. And that's when you find out, oh, that person that you thought was so nice and gentle is actually a jerk.
Totally.